Thanks very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see you all. Thanks so much for inviting me to give the talk today. I hope you can all hear me okay and see the slides. I'm very grateful to Professor Mao for extending me this invitation for the online talk. As he said, he was my PhD student. Now he's my co-author and a wonderful colleague. So it's really nice to be here. My topic today is to share with you our work in information security and more specifically our study into how protection motivation theory has been applied to understand user information security behaviors. And we'll talk more about this theory and about our study as we proceed. The paper that we wrote has been accepted and it's forthcoming in the Journal of the Association for Information Systems. So that's a nice, high quality, high impact journal. Professor Mao now, we worked on the paper with Professor Kim. I'm not sure if he's joined the lecture, but I thank him and recognize him as well for his contribution to the work. And we also worked on the paper with Professor Anol Bhattacharjee, who's from University of South Florida in the US. As Professor Mao said, I'm from the University of the Witwatersrand in Johannesburg, and I've been teaching there since 1999. And I received my PhD in 2004, and I'm in the School of Business Sciences there. Professor Mao was correct. He described my research interests. I'm very interested in information systems in organizations, and how organizations adopt and manage and use information systems to improve their competitive performance and their strategic positioning. And of course, very interested in electronic commerce, which is where a lot of the work that we've recently published has been in that space. So I thought I'd show you a picture of my university campus. So this is my university campus in Johannesburg in South Africa. And you can see some of the buildings of downtown Johannesburg in the background. Our university was established in 1922. So next year we're going to be 100 years old, which is a wonderful centenary celebration for the university. We've got around 38,000 students who are enrolled into our campus, and my faculty has around 10,000 students. So Professor Mao said I'm the deputy dean for the faculty, which means I have to take care of about 10,000 students, as like they're my children. And since April last year, the country's been in lockdown because of COVID, and our classes have moved online. So there's very few contact classes, except for some exceptions. And so most of those beautiful buildings that you're seeing there are all empty, with no teaching happening now. So we can't wait to get back to our beautiful campus. So back to our topic now, in information security. And I think what's important to understand is that our interest in this topic is really motivated by our consideration of the numerous consequences of information security breaches for economies, for companies, for societies, and for individuals. And news report headlines, such as the ones that you're seeing on the screen now, there's nothing particularly special about these headlines. They're just an example of the sorts of headlines that we see in the news today related to information security breaches. But what they show is the extent of these economic, social, and other impacts. And a report by IBM, which came out, it was called the Cost of Data Breach Report. It came out earlier this year, analyzing data from 2020. And it shows that the average, the global average for the cost of a data security breach is around $3.9 million. And there's hundreds of thousands of these breaches happening every year. And beyond the sort of direct costs for companies of detecting and investigating the breaches, for recovering their data, there's also additional costs. Subsequently, they have to upgrade their IT systems. They sometimes have to notify regulators, depending on the industry within which they work. They have to notify their customers. There's also the cost of lost productivity, due to downtime, because systems have to get taken offline and get disconnected. There was an example last week where Fujifilm in Japan had a data breach. They had to take their network offline in order to recover, and that meant they couldn't accept any new orders coming through from customers. So those sorts of indirect costs add to the direct costs of data breaches.